Yeah.
Did you see another podcast on our network, $1 Million Worth of Game? They had Young Thug on their podcast.
Who's Young Thug?
Exactly. So me and you being, old school rap fans, Young Thug doesn't mean anything to us. If you're
he may be a great person, or he or she.
No, it's a he.
He could be great. I just don't know his stuff, or maybe I've heard a song and I don't know his name.
Yeah, a couple songs you would probably know, but he's on this interview. He says nobody out right now has 30 songs like I do that the whole audience at a stadium can sing along with. Not even Jay-Z.
When I perform, I got 30, 40 songs that the whole stadium gonna know. Jay-Z ain't got 30 songs like that.
Wow.
And the guys who at Barstool, like the host was like, whoa, like you got a lot of hits. And if you're, I don't know one of them, but if you're from the younger generation, this dude is one of the most prolific in the game. But even our host was like, Jay-Z does have quite a few, but it sparked this argument on the internet. And it was something I never thought I would see happen. But Jay-Z, we are now old enough that people were like, yeah, Jay-Z's like, that music's like old and lame. You're washed up. Like, this is the new shit. That's like, you don't put Jay-Z on in a party. You don't I can't believe that rap is now old enough to the point that
everything's older than us now, dude. Are you my age? I'm 39.
I'm 36.
Dude, I'll never forget when I was at UCB. It was probably 2006 or 7. And Paul Scheer, Aziz, and Rob Hubel got a show called Human Giant on MTV. On MTV, music television. Right. And Paul told me this story. I hope I'm telling it right. Paul's a genius. Paul goes, we wrote a sketch with Nirvana, and then had a joke about Nirvana. And MTV told us to remove it. And they're like, why? And they said, nobody knows who Nirvana is. The kids who watch MTV don't know who Nirvana is. And it was like 2006 or 7 or 8, or it was like, I was still in New York. So I could not, it blew my mind, but that's just what it is. It's the same with like, the people who are watching stuff are watching different things than, we were watching. So everything is evolving and changing, which is interesting, really interesting.
What's the oldest, like, can you pinpoint the moment when you were like, oh, I'm old? Because for me, it was rap music. I don't know exactly when, but like, when Kanye switched his style and there was a couple new like Young this or Lil that, and I was just
also like a new record, a couple like Busta Rhymes came out with a new record. I fucking loved it. Kid Cudi came out with a new record.
You just referenced Busta Rhymes. He's fucking 60, man.
What about Kid Cudi? Kid Cudi's 30s. Kid Cudi's
going. That's a good
one. Kid Cudi's new record is great. So like when people recommend stuff, I'll listen to it. But I'm not on the hunt for music like I was before. Like when Napster was out, or
thirst for it, like I had to have this
love, and also like finding like old Big L tracks that people couldn't find freestyles to, and like I used to love that shit, and like go on all of our, MP3 thingies and
yep.
So like that stuff to me I love that, and that was in college and after college. And then after a while, I'm not on the hunt for it as much. But if something great comes up, I'll listen. Or like the only way
it doesn't. Kid Cudi guys like that, yes, but like new.
Oh, I'll tell you one of the things that made me feel old was I'd done stuff at UCB for a while. I went to LA. And I went back I went back all the time, but there was one time I came back to UCB and I didn't know one person that was performing in the type of shows that, and I was like, oh, it's a whole different class. Like and someone came up and that was there and was like, oh man, we used to watch you, when we were, I was like, oh, right. It's different now. And like, that happens with Parks also. Sometimes I'll be talking to an actor and that person will be like, oh yeah, we saw you as John Ralphio, or they're like, yeah, I saw you do Hot Sauce, which is an older group that I did. And I was like, wow, I've been doing this for a while. You kind of forget that, like,
you're old too.
We've been doing this for a longer time than usual. Oftentimes I'll be like, yeah, I've only been doing this, but then like someone made me go on and look through like IMDb for something. And like, they're like, yeah, you got to scroll. You've been doing this for a bit.
Yeah, like, buddy.
Shit. I was like, maybe, I was like, God, I've done that. And that sometimes that can help you with your confidence being like, all right, I feel like unprepared for tomorrow's scene, but like I've done this for long enough that I know I feel this way sometimes, even though I'm pretty prepared. Yep. Like you can learn where your anxiety comes in and play with it a bit.